Okay, first thing you're going to do is, in most cases, you'll be able to hit this power switch. And what will happen is these blue lights right here will come on, and then they'll go off for a couple seconds, and they'll come back on, and then it'll begin the startup process. And it takes probably 3 or 4 minutes to start up. It takes a decent amount of time. Now, if that doesn't work, there's a switch right here on the back where the power supply is, and you can feel it, and you'll just flip it to where it's going in that way, and it'll turn on that way. But most of the time, you should just be able to hit it right here.
Now, is that button, you hold it down for,
No,
you just hit it
It's
and
like
release?
a power button on a computer.
Okay. So you don't hold it down, you just hit it and let off of it, okay.
Yeah. And it'll seem like, oh, I didn't hit it hard enough or something like that, but if you just wait, it'll come up.
Okay.
Then the first thing you'll do is get it to look like what it'll look like. It'll probably be looking like this. Okay. It'll first thing the preset will always be on. The presets control all the house lights, and we usually have a display or a little panel right here that we can control it with. But that one's being repaired at the moment.
Do we know when that's coming in back?
He's just got a column that's already been fixed. They just got to pay for it and send it back.
Awesome.
So, but those lights will already be on with the preset. So normally I wouldn't have to have this up. So this will already be down. But most likely it'll look like this. You'll have this page up and no windows are open. Okay. First thing you'll do is you'll hit the playback view. It's the button at the top of the screen. It says playback. And then you'll go to page 10, which is the ELCA page. And it'll take you to the ELCA cue lists and the stuff that y'all need. Okay, and then right after that, you'll tap this to make sure that this cue list is selected, and then you'll hit the play button and go to the first cue. And with that cue, all your house lights are up, and so you don't need this fader at all. And at that point, you'll go down to the little keypad that's over at that door down there, and you'll hit the off button. It's the bottom right button on the little keypad.
Or when this gets in place, you can hit the off button on this when that gets here.
Yes.
But until that, somebody has to turn that off over there.
It should be in the next couple of weeks. So, so you have that. The next thing that you'll do is you'll turn on your robotics. And the thing that how we turn the robotics on is called striking them. And you'll hit the strike robotics scene like that. And you'll hear them start clicking, and then once you hear them start clicking, hit the iNet. And what you'll do is you'll sit here and you'll wait for a little bit. And now we have 8 robotic lights. You'll see the 2 that are on top of the walls right here, that they're plain sight. And there's 2 that are on top of the trusses in the proscenium, and then there's actually 4 that are hidden up in the ceiling behind the black ring or whatever, and you can start to see their beams on the stage eventually. But pretty much what you'll check for is you'll see those in the proscenium have come on. If you look at the ones on the wall, you can see right on the rim of where the lens is, you can see it's lit up. And then you'll start to see on the stage, there's the second one right there, the first one's over here, third, and the fourth. Once you can actually see the beams a little bit, you can go ahead and release these scenes, because they'll continue to get brighter until they're completely bright. To release these, what you'll do is you can either touch it or you can hold the mouse button down. You can do it like this and hit the release button. Okay. Important thing to do is to make sure you let go of the release button before you let go of the mouse button or let go of the scene. Because if you do that, it'll release whatever you have over here, and all the house lights will go out. And we don't want that. I've made that mistake before. That was the last time I made that mistake. And then you'll do the same for this iNet position. The iNet is just kind of so you can see where everything is and make sure everything's working. That's what we use that for. Now, one thing that we'll do sometimes is when they're working on stage, so we don't waste all the lamps that are up here, we'll turn on, I'll clear this, we'll turn on group 12. You'll hit the group button right here, 12 full, and it'll just bring up the house over the stage so they can see and work and stuff. Probably what I'll do is I'll put in a queue right here for y'all. It'll just have those automatically in there.
That'd be good.
That'll be work best. And so they'll be using that, and when you're done, you'll just clear those with the clear button. Okay. Now, the welcome. If you want to go to the welcome, which I guess that's commonly y'all's first thing y'all do, is you'll hit the play button and we'll go straight to the next queue, and the welcome, and that's what the welcome has up. I reprogrammed it with all of our new lighting that we put up this summer, so nothing's badly programmed, so it's all even and looking nice. And then you'll go to music and you'll hit the play button again. One thing that if you need to go back to the welcome for some reason, you could hit this pause button. That will fade it back to the welcome. You could hit the back button. Looks like something you'd see on a CD player or whatever. That will go instantly, which kind of, unless you're actually editing, it's not a very good thing to have people see. And then another idea is you can do go to, and you'll see the queue number right here. You can go to, and it says 2, and you'll see go to 2, and you'll hit enter, and it'll go at its fade times right there. Okay. But other than that, you'll just hit play all the way through. So, for example, we're at the welcome. You want to go to a video. You want to go to the video queue. You hit go to 6, and go straight to the video queue. See, so it all works now that I've reprogrammed it. And you can go back to 1 for the walk-in. Now, sometimes after Pastor Tim finishes with this series, it'll most likely be every week, but until then it'll probably be every other week. We'll have the LED panels out on the stage and hooked up and powered and everything. Now we have several different scenes over here. We have message LEDs, fire by night LEDs, grad LED, and I believe that's it. Those are just things that we've used in the past, but they're different colors, and you can just use them as you need to.
Those are
preset colors. Yes. So I think I can't remember exactly what we had on the message LEDs last, but the fire by night is an orange and a red, and the grad is kind of a blue and almost a purple. It's mostly blue and a purple.
Message LEDs usually
Hey, Eric.
Still didn't know you were right there.
Like,
is Jason talking or?
What else am I missing, Eric?
You're welcome to set up your own scene for the LEDs if you want to, so you can record. LED for the banners if you want to.
I personally like that blue you had last year. That I don't.
ELCA LED seat. Just make one. Yeah. I do that probably today if I want.
And then we can even program the macro into the queue list if you want to. Just brings it up and release it automatically.
All right. How much detail as far as robotics?
Okay.
How much is that to learn and to operate the robotics?
Well, right now what we're going to start with is we're just going to have some pre-programmed scenes right here. That kind of makes sense. With makes sense.
Start from, have you already structured it?
Yes, we've already done all that. I have one scene for our washes, the ones that are on the walls.
And explain what a wash is.
A wash is pretty much all it just shows a kind of a soft beam. It's a bright beam, but it's a soft edged and just does color mostly. And you can kind of change the beam angle and things like that, but it's mostly just a wash with color wherever you want it. And we have a backstage wash. We'll move those to kind of backstage. And this is all stuff that I've used for other things that are just still here and usable. And then for the spots, now the spots, pretty much what they are is they can do what the washes do, but they can also put shapes out, whatever shapes that are in it, and it has I mean, you can, some of the shapes you can rotate, and you can shake them.
And those shapes are referred to as
gobos.
gobos.
If you want to remember that.
That's a lighting term, gobos.
Now these spots have 2 gobo wheels. The second one has the rotatable gobos in them. But you can look at those whenever you want. They're not actually labeled by what their shape is on here. They just say gobo 1, gobo 2. So you'd have to actually point them somewhere and look at them.
Go ahead and show them how to access them.
How to control one? Okay. So we'll do you want to do where they can select both spots at the same time?
Show them both. It doesn't show them both. I mean,
Show them selecting one and then show them selecting multiple. Okay. So right now, if you want to select a single fixture to control, you'll do fixture button, and then we have our different fixtures right here. We have our color washes. Those are the ones that I have on right now. That's something I worked on earlier. It's not needed at all. The scanners, those are the ones that are up in the ceiling that you can't see. The color bands, those are all of our LED bars that are sitting in the stage and the panels. And then the spots are the ones that are up in the proscenium. Okay. So for this purpose, I'm going to select the color spot, and I'm going to. There's 2 of them, and obviously it'll go 1, 2, whichever one I want. So I'll pick number 1. Now you'll see it has. That's the intensity area. It's got a strobe area, pan, a tilt, color, a color 2, a gobo, and all these different little things that you can do with this light. Okay. The first thing you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to put it at, turn it on to where you can see it. So I'll put it at full. I'll hit the full button. Then to move it around, you can either hit the position button and adjust these manually, or adjust them precisely, I guess would be the correct term. Or you could hit this button right here. It'll turn the trackball blue, and you can move it around like this. And this is what I use to look at different gobos. Is I'll point it at that wall right there, over here on the right above the stairwell, and I'll go to the first set of gobos, and I'll hit gobo 1. Well, I can see it's not very sharp. It needs to be focused. There's the beam set. You go to beam, and you'll be able to. You'll hit it again to where you see a focus option, and there it is, focus, and it's on this wheel. And you'll focus it to where you can see it's sharper. Okay.
that all depends on your preference. You can leave it blurred.
Yeah, you can't leave it blurred, but some of the gobos, if you're trying to figure out a gobo and then you want to blur it, so that's just an option. But then you can go look at the different gobos we have on there. Some of them are kind of strange. I don't know who came up with them. So, but then there's 2 gobos, and so I'll open this one. Open that gobo, and I'll put the other gobo from another one up, and you'll see that this one's blurry now because the gobos are at 2 different levels with the light, and so now you need to refocus it for this gobo. And these gobos, I have never figured out what they actually serve as, but there's one that makes more sense, and that's the second gobo wheel. And these you can rotate. If you go to beam, you hit beam until you see gobo 2, and it has the little arrows. It's right now it's set on index. That way it'll just move to a specific rotation, a specific spot. But if you want it to rotate, you'll hit that once, and you can turn it to multiple RPMs or however fast you want it.
And just making sure these little each tab goes with each wheel.
Yes.
Above that.
Yep.
Okay.
And these are these are like categories of features of the light, and so especially the top 4. The bottom 4 you'll probably never use to actually control to manipulate the light itself. The top 4 are the ones that have all your different little features that you can control. So like color, you'll go to color. You'll see you have color right here. You can move the colors with the wheels if you wanted, and you can do that way. Or you could just select color 2. I want cyan or magenta. I could hit magenta. There you go. And I can open it back up. Okay. Now, if you're done editing it, or controlling it manually, all you'll do, clear. And it'll just go back to whatever it was last, which is the initial position. Okay?
Well, you can record that to the scene if you want.
Are you in video production now?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Adam.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I did. Mr. Routine did tell me about you. I need to sign this. Or is this
Yeah.
your schedule?
That's just my schedule.
Okay. Welcome aboard.
I'll make sure.
We're just getting some training on lights. We're recording it so we can send it out to whoever. You can watch it later.
When it comes to the light, you really can't, there's nothing that you can do to mess it up. We back up to the last drive every Sunday.
More than every
So
Sunday.
if you happen to, I mean, as long as you're on your page, you're really not going to miss anything that we do, or miss anything that we have. So feel free to play around with the robotics, get used to them. There's a lot more that you can do.
Oh, yeah.
So when we started up and we go to page 10, or is it 10 or 12?
10.
10. So when we go to page 10, we can mess around with it as
Right, you're on
as
your
needed.
page. The only other thing that you would mess up with would be the queue list. And have you shown them queue list yet?
I've shown them how to run this list right here and move around
You
in
can
it.
have multiple queue lists on one page. So that queue list is just one queue list that you have.
Yes.
Mhm.
We have hundreds of queue lists for each song. Go ahead and open up. To get to a queue list, you can go open list.
Open list.
And these are all of the queue lists that we have. They're labeled None But Jesus, Jesus Messiah. These are the different songs that we have in the queue list. So when you come to doing the spring production or come to the one ad, you could do a specific queue list for that production. This ELCA one is just your main one. It's your default that you would always want there available. You can easily go to.
Are there different pages? I mean, we have our pages, but is there like a sub-page of...
Well,
There are
queue-
multiple. You go to open and page, and these are other pages. You could create another page if you wanted to as well.
Okay.
What I would do is keep the queue list and just add to it back and forth, unless spring production may need its own.
Right, because there's
page.
so many
Yeah.
different queues. But
And then you could have your queue list. You could have.
they made a World Impact Day one last year.
Did they? And you'd have 10 different queue lists going across there if you wanted to.
cool.
Technically, you can do 20 if you don't want to use any submasters.
If you didn't want to, the submasters. I mean, we always have the house on the submaster. That way, if something happens with the queue list, you can always bring up that fader and it brings up the house all the way.
So say we need to add something to this generic list, or we just
Change
want-
something.
Yeah, change something, whatever.
Well, if you're going to change something to this particular list, as long as they're on that,
Yeah, they're on
as
that.
long as you're on that list right there, you could bring up, whatever lights you wanted to bring up. Hit record. Have you shown them how to record it?
Not yet.
Okay. Go ahead and you're at a better angle than I am. Go ahead and show them how to
What?
record. You're at a better angle than I am.
Oh, okay. So, if you want to record something, so say you want, okay, I'll add
Go ahead
that.
and bring up a scene. Go ahead and bring up what's the next cue?
Welcome.
Yeah, go ahead and
Well, I
bring
was
that
going to
up.
add them in a work light queue, since
Okay,
they don't
go
have
ahead
one.
and do that. Okay.
So say you want to have work lights for the first queue, right? So the work lights are group 12. It'll be group 12, and you'll put them at full. And so you want those to be your very first queue. Well, see, the first queue is already number 1. If you want to put these before that, you'll just record queue, and you can do anything from 0 to 1 before 1.
Point
so-
one, point two.
Point 1,
0.5,
point. So
whatever.
I usually do like 0.5 or something. And now you'll have your lights in your work lights in
Then you
as your very
click on
first
that.
queue.
Go ahead and click on and show them how to label it, Joseph, because I know that that's your favorite thing to not do.
Well, first thing, you want to renumber it to where it looks neat.
It
You'll
doesn't
hit the
matter which one you
renumber
do.
button.
You can renumber it, and then it does it one through.
But you can select it. You can either use that keyboard, or you can hit.
All right, how'd you do that?
I double clicked on
On
it.
the left mouse?
Or you
on
can
the left
tap on
mouse,
it
or you can
too.
tap on it, double tap.
Okay.
Okay. You can either use that keyboard and just start typing right there, or you could hit set again, and you'll bring up a keyboard on here.
Oh.
And you just touch it, tap it, whatever you want to call it.
Or you didn't mess up like I did. See, now the only issue is the way I recorded it. Your house lights are set to come up in the second cue, so therefore in the first cue your house lights are not going to come on. Now here's a way you can easily fix that. You can clear these out first, and you'll do group 1, which is your house lights, and you can go ahead and put them at full because that's where they're at for your second cue. And you can record that into your first cue, and you'll just say merge, and you can clear those out. And now for the second cue, you want the work lights to go out, okay? So you group 12 at 0, and then record cue 2, and there you go.
And when that string comes up, you saw the merge replace.
Mm-hmm.
If you replaced it, it's going to
Take everything that was in that.
It's going to take just what you did, which would have been just the house lights, and replace it. So then you would have lost the lights over the stage.
Okay.
So you always want to merge it, unless for some reason you are wanting to replace the entire cue.
Now, in that situation, it probably would have been okay to replace it because the only thing you had in this second cue was the house lights coming up.
anyway.
Well, they're already up in the first cue. Now, a way you can get rid of a light out of a cue is you'll select whatever light, and so this case is the whole group 1. Select it. You can give it any value, so you'll make sure it's on intensity. You'll give it any value, doesn't matter, and you record cue whatever 2. You'll turn off the forward and you'll turn on the remove, and it will remove those lights from that cue. So now when you view this cue, the house lights are not changed in that cue, or just reset to what you want them to be. So
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's better sense, and I mean, kind of, yeah.
So
Yes,
what
sir.
are all the groups? You said group 1 is house.
groups. Okay, now here's this. You just, if you want to see all the groups, you'll hit open group. It'll put up all the groups.
Are
And
they
you can
labeled
just-
correctly?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are all labeled correctly. Now, so you have all the different house light sections, general sections. So I think some of them can be deleted because we never use them. But other than that, now the new ones that we have, the new groups that we have, are this catwalk right here. This summer we redid the entire catwalk. All the lights came down and we put them up back in an organized fashion. Okay, so groups 25 through 30, those are all of your main stage lights except for the baptism. Of course, it's the baptism. So we have LECOs. Those are the long lights that kind of you can focus them better. Then you have 1Ks. Those are the ones that have those are the smaller ones that have the boxing in that you can do. Okay, so I'm going to select all the LECOs and I want to put them at full. The LECOs are set up in 8 sections across the stage. So you have LECO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just across the stage. Okay, now the 1Ks are set up a little bit differently. We have house left 1Ks, and those will bring up house left, of course. Then you have the house center, bring up the center ones. Then you have the house right, bring up
All
those.
this is to help
Programming.
programming, make it easier when you got your house left center, especially. I mean, it may even help for one half for screen
Absolutely.
production.
Yep.
You're just pinpointing a certain area of the stage.
Yep.
Plus, also, you don't know if you noticed, there's an even blend of light all the way across the stage now, so it helps camera operators in the shader as well.
And that's just the 1Ks. If you add the LECOs,
So y'all did away with the 2Ks?
no.
They still up there, or they just...
I'll show you that in a second. You come down a little bit, we have a 2K section,
Okay.
49. Now we just have, pretty much what I set them up as is we have a house left 2K, center stage 2K, a house right 2K. And then we also have our side stages that we use for Christmas and spring productions and stuff. So you have your house left and your house right if you want those two on. They just cover that, and you can put them all at full. You'll add the center one. That's just 3 2Ks, that's all it's on. So we also have the LECOs for this little extra section that we'll have stage 4 that's not the baptistry.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have the house left extension Licos right there.
Yeah, because that gets used at times.
And then we have the house right extension 2K, so that 2K over there. So
So you can get light pretty much anywhere except for in front of the stage.
right now,
Um,
which reminds me, Jono or Mark speaking tonight?
I'm not gonna worry about it.
Okay.
They can stand on the stage. That's what the stage is for.
Tell Mark and Jono that. So they say.
Do we have actually for backstage? Our cameras back there. How do we control those?
Well, the way I know to control it is you have to know the fixture, and you just choose the fixture number
Which
at
one are you talking about?
The ones proscenium lights for their.
proscenium lights.
Yeah. You have some going into
I
different
have
channels?
I have, well, the ones that were already there and already plugged in, I just re-aimed them.
You can record a cue if you wanted to for that.
Or
a
scene.
if you
Well,
wanted to.
what I would like to do is when the preset gets in here, we can record it. Can you record a scene on the panel?
You can work preset.
Or preset,
I just have to
yeah.
remember which ones were which. It's coming. I just paid for it today.
You know, what I'd like to do is be able to, you know, because we're not going to be using this room when we're up there.
Yeah.
We just have, this would be dead.
Well, we'll need to be.
Well,
have people
yeah, I
down
take
there,
that back.
up
Maybe
here,
just
and
like
right here.
one house light or two house light, and then have couple of drama lights on, and that's it. And that'd be saved as a preset. So we don't even have to have the board on. Someone could just go over to the wall or here and hit a button.
That'd make it pretty much
Yeah.
easier
Yeah.
for us. Take a lot of stress off us in the mornings.
Yeah.
That's
Talk to 'em about
kinda-
turning the preset on and off also.
Yes. I haven't gotten to turning the board off yet and doing all that, but
All right, we got like two
Tell me we get out of here
now.
now.
Okay, go
Show
ahead
us
and
how
go
to
process of
turn
turning
off,
the,
okay.
striking them off,
Yeah.
and
Dousing
well,
the body.
here's what you'll do is
if y'all need to go, y'all can go. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
you'll release any scenes like I showed you before. You'll hold the scene down with whatever way, and you'll hit release. Okay, then I'll release them.
You can also, you don't have to use this. Everything's touchscreen. You can push this, hold this down on the screen and hit release. as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Touching it is the mouse,
Anything you can do with this, you can also do it on the screen as well.
Okay.
except right click.
Yeah, so
But then to douse them, first you'll turn them on iNet. That way you'll be able to see them all go off and make sure they went off.
Okay.
And then you'll hit douse robotics right here,
Okay.
and you'll see them. They'll go out right
now
there.
they're off.
And that's it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
And we go ahead and re-release the scenes too. At least I do.
Yeah, release the cue list.
Yeah. And you
We
can just
can't
hit-
right now because the
Oh,
preset's
you
not
got
on.
the preset on. Okay,
No.
I'll go turn it on. I'll go turn the preset on so you can show me how to turn
But what we'll
I know
do
which one it
is
I gotta go.
he will first thing before you release this, or you'll make sure this is up or that is still on. The cue list is still up, whichever, it doesn't matter. And then you'll turn the preset on, yeah. And then you'll turn whatever off, and you'll release this cue list. And after that, you'll do setup, shut down. Yeah, I'll give him a chance. Okay, presets on. So now, since that is done, we can release that. Clears that list.
Okay.
Scenes, those scenes being on is perfectly fine. Leaving those scenes is perfectly fine. So then you'll do setup. You'll hit the quit button over here, and you'll shut down.
Okay.
And it
That's
takes
enough.
about 15-20 seconds, or like 15 seconds to shut down. There, it's off.